Well, hello everybody, Dr. Parker here. Happy whatever day it is to you, and hopefully this is the best day of your entire life. Your practice is becoming more fun, your practice is growing, patients are beginning to refer more people, money's flowing, and life couldn't be better. So with that, let's get into our number 10 thing. And this is now the idea that we looked at as far as getting our practice out there. A lot of people are looking at the marketing, and they're calling marketing advertising. I know people call themselves marketing people, but when I look at their programs, what they're selling are ads. And ads are not marketing. Marketing is connecting chiropractic to the community. That's exactly what we need to do. The community does not have a clue what chiropractic is. If I will go talk to 10 people, 100 people, 200 people, I'll probably get mostly something about we crack backs for back pain. In summary, very few people talk about, oh, that's a vitalistic approach to health. That's the one that unites God, man the spiritual to man the physical. They don't say that because they have no idea. In fact, when you talk about adjusting the spine to improve health, they really give you strange looks because that's not their idea. So advertising is when we send an ad out talking about how we get them out of pain. If you look at most advertising actually is that. I've researched it, I've followed it up, I've test marketed it, I've done every which way but loose. And I'm telling you, if you want to get patients, we call them, if you want to purchase patients, that's through advertising, you got to advertise pain or symptoms at some level. Right now, people are talking about how they're reversing neuropathy in people's legs. People are talking about how they're getting rid of herniated discs. People are talking about how they get people out of pain quickly. And that's what motivates people, because you can't educate people over an advertisement. So my life has always been based around connecting chiropractic community. I would go out and actually do talks and educate people. And not when I say educate, I hate that word because who wants to go get educated? I want to give vital information that's relevant to the people of any community. As an example, I was with a client today, and he was mentioning that what he'd really like to do would be he'd like to sit there and put together a training where he trains people how to eat. He wants to video himself going to a grocery store and telling them, how he buys produce and how to eat organically. And he said he wanted to do that mostly for, obviously for mothers or for the women of the house, because they're the ones right now that are buying food for the children. And he's got a big heart for the predicament of the species, so to speak. Well, right now, at 12 years old, onset diabetes is now a common thing. Obesity in children is a common thing. And obesity and diabetes becomes heart disease and a lot of problems. And when that's happening at 12 instead of 40 or 50, those kids don't have much of a future, in my opinion. And he wants, and he feels that by increasing lifestyle, that would also be good for his practice, because part of lifestyle is you got to eat well, you got to move well, and you have to have a central nervous system that's functioning properly. So, however you get out in the community is really the best way to get out in the community, because it's a situation. In fact, it says that new patients only stimulate the development of a practice. A lot of people look at new patients as the end all to practice building, but new patients, in my opinion, they stimulate growth. Retaining patients is how you develop a practice. So if you come to my door, you're brand new, you don't know what's going on. My job is to connect you to a new thought process. Lifestyle management is very good because I think that it's important. If at one time the attitude was just get that atlas adjusted and you'll be healthy. Well, there's more to it than that. We have, food we eat, we have exercise, and though we don't have to practice that if we don't want to, some people enjoy, their practices that are education and nutrition and exercise. I particularly do not, because my specialty is educating the public of the devastating effects of vertebral subluxation, and then correcting and detecting and correcting vertebral subluxation. I do, though, put on talks in my office where I talk about how to eat better, how to move better. I think it's very important. I just don't sit down there and do that individually with patients because I don't find that it's the best use of my time. So at that point, but when I do that, they come to me for pain, and when I then show them why they're having pain and how lifestyle is probably what broke them down, and what lifestyle can probably build them back up again, that's how we sit there and we attract new patients. So one of the pieces of the puzzle is we have to attract. Now, how do you attract? You're probably thinking, well, what do you mean how you attract? You run an ad, you tell somebody, come see me. But when you're running an ad, you're attracting people that are in pain, which is really more of a allopathic approach, correct? So then we go out and do talks. Well, I don't like to talk. But if you go out and do talks, you get to sit there and bring up issues that people don't naturally think about. Lifestyle, nervous system, how it all functions. It's interesting. Go do a talk and have everybody raise their hand. What does the word chiropractic mean to you? And ask the audience what their feedback is. You'll be surprised. You know, we think people know what chiropractic is because they use the word chiropractor on 2.5 Men now on TV. And of course, you know, if the general population is casting that character, if you've watched that show, the chiropractor is not the smartest and, you know, sharpest knife in the drawer. They still don't understand. The population does not have a clue about what we are. And a lot of people take offense to their lack of knowledge. I just say, hey, we got to do a better job. So we attract patients, and I don't call them patients, number one. I call people that I'm attracting, I call suspects. Because I believe that most people are suspicious at best about chiropractic. A lot of people are suspicious about how they could be healthier because even going to their regular doctors and following routine historical treatments, they don't feel good. They don't have the energy they used to have. They're breaking down, but they're confused. But then they hear somebody's taking somebody and adjusting their back and they're getting better. They're skeptical. So they're suspicious at best. Therefore, if they're suspicious, my job is to match them at that level. Is to match them and introduce chiropractic from a very, very basic level. So then as they get the suspicious people, man, I can't even say the word suspicious. Suspicious people then become prospects. You see, a lot of people, when they're looking for a new patient, they're going to go prospecting, you know, and a new patient usually is not a prospect because they're not looking for chiropractic. They're looking for other things. So we go from attracting suspects, and then we get them to our office and we convert them from suspects to prospects. I begin educating them and let them understand what it is that we do. And in doing that, they start understanding our approach, and then we convert them into patients. And I use the word patients, by the way. I know it's not PC right now. Everybody's calling them team members and practice members and all kinds of different names. But quite honestly, I don't feel a person off the street is ready to be a practice member yet. They need to be patient with me as I educate them as to the truth about health and health care. So I use the time to leverage their level of understanding why they go through our corrective care process. And as we bring them into a new understanding, they go from patients, and we transform them into clients. Through the process of going through their care, they're educated, and they finally, usually at the end of their care program, they're now transformed to a new understanding of health and health care. They now choose chiropractic. Well, in my office, in 71% of the cases, they stayed for care after their first year because now they got an understanding how the body works and how it goes through. And I'm telling you, this doesn't happen in a slick 5-minute report. I saw the other day an ad I was told about, and it said, hey, 1984 just called. They want their 4-day report back. It was some guy that was trying to be snide about the old-fashioned, quote, 4-day reports, and now they're doing them in 5 minutes. But ask yourself, go talk to the doctors that are doing these 5-minute reports, and you know they see a patient for 1 day, and the next day they make a recommendation in 5 minutes for a year or so of care, and ask them, how is their follow-through? How is their refunds? How are their, because the ones I talk to, patients just staying for a few weeks and they quit because they didn't understand it. The transformation process, how long does it take you to understand the process? How do we expect a totally uneducated person to understand the process of using chiropractic and good eating and good exercise and getting adjusted as a way to have better health overall? Not back pain, but better health. More vibrance, more vitality, more energy, to be more vibrant, to no longer get sick. That doesn't happen in 5 minutes. In my office, it takes a year. And in that process, they're moving forward every day. You see, I look at this. Every day, people have a choice. They can move towards sickness or towards wellness. Based on their decisions and their actions, every day, patients move towards wellness or away from wellness towards sickness. When people come in for 10, 12 visits to get out of pain and quit, they go back to their sick care lifestyle, which got them there in the first place. When they stay in a wellness care process and they're motivated daily to move forward towards wellness, and they're monitored and they're coached, and given that time, their habits change, their lifestyle changes, and they emerge on the other side healthy and happy. And that's what we want. That's how you build a practice. Not from masses of new patients, but from massive retention. So, your focus becomes attracting suspects, converting them to prospects, then patients, then clients, and retain them and their family for their life as they chose chiropractic as a health assurance plan and get away from insurance. You have a great day. I'll see you on the next event.